Hey guys, so today we'll be talking about coral. The scientific name of coral is Anthozoa. You could commonly find coral in saltwater oceans. You can find them in both deep and shallow waters. A few examples would be the Great Coral Reef, which you could find in the coast of Australia, and then the flower garden banks, which you could find off the coast of Texas, Louisiana. A few ways that coral gets its food is through algae. So algae lives in the tissue of coral, and through photosynthesis, algae produces energy, which will convert into sugars and carbohydrates, which will which coral will feed off of. And then coral also has these tentacle-like arms that will come out at night, and usually at night, and then they will catch microorganisms around them, such as zooplankton, and feed off of that. And then the predator prey relationship. So coral has a mutualistic relationship with algae because algae provides food for coral, coral provides protective shelter for algae, and they are both being benefited in this situation. Coral is a very vulnerable organism, so it has a lot of predators, a few being crabs, marine worms, sea stars, and snails. So the evolutionary traits, like explained about the coral polyps. So this is specifically a big trait for deep water coral. So deep water coral do not have algae or cannot depend on algae for food resource because sunlight is unable to get to deep water. So the sorry, so the coral polyps will be their main source of food or main method of food. And then stony coral, or also like hard coral, is like a protection method for coral, and so this prevents like predators from eating the coral. And then the bleaching resistant trait. So a lot of this prevents coral from bleaching, and this is a big deal because a lot of coral are dying from bleaching. And then this is what bleaching coral looks like on the top right photo. And then deep water residing coral. So the ability for coral to live in deep waters protects it from harms such as boating, human activity, and bleaching, which helps its survival. And then living in colonies. So instead of living individually, coral that live in colonies um, will attract more food because it attracts more fish, more plants, and etc. So it kind of builds like an ecosystem around that. And then the tree of life. So the coral belongs in the eukaryote domain. It is the second branch of the tree of life. It is classified as Cnidaria, which is above the poriferans, which are usually sponges, and then Cnidaria is coral and jellyfish. So the importance of coral in the ecosystem is that it creates a ecosystem for various marine organisms. Like I explained, it attracts more fish, it attracts sharks, like big fish. It attracts plants, etc. It serves as an area for spawning, nursery and feeding, and then provides protection for aquatic life. And then for humankind, it prevents erosion, it creates recreational opportunities, and opens up more jobs through that. So example would be snorkeling and like snorkeling guides or boating or tour guides. And then it provides food sources because it attracts more fish, and then provides new medicine.